Devinder Sharma, good morning.
Morning.
Yes. Vous êtes ici au dialogue en humanité. Pourquoi?
Well, I find dialogue in humanity to be a very unique kind of a people's movement. I've not been associated with for long, but last few years that I attended the first dialogue in Bangalore, I realized this is a people's movement which is actually clamoring for, or which is wanting a change or change the world towards making it a better place. To me, that I think is what all of us everywhere are working towards. So there is a time and opportunity now to join hands. So dialogue is trying to carry that movement in its own way, but basically all of us are working towards a better world, a better future, and a good living. So that's what I suppose brings us together.
Okay. L'Inde veut être un pays émergent. Quels sont ses avantages?
Well, I think India is in a very unique position. I don't know why we call it as an emerging nation or emerging economy. The point was, so far we were a country which was not considered important because we did not figure out at that level globally. But India is a country which is very well endowed with natural resources. India is a country which is a huge repository of biological wealth. India is a country which has almost all the assets that you require in any country are available in one country because we are a subcontinent. And India is also a country which has a huge manpower. And the good part is, while Europe is becoming old, India is becoming young. And if 50% of our population is less than 30 years of age, I think it is a huge positive strength that India has got. So I think all the criterias of what a developing country or a great nation should be aspiring to, all the assets are already there with us. And more than that, I think something that India has never tried out, but India is a land with abundant sun power. You know, when I come to England, for instance, people, when I say, "Hey John, how are you?" the reply I get is not so bad, because the weather, everything is linked to weather. The weather is very rarely good in England or in Europe. And in fact, I always feel that the sun is always morning in Europe. I mean, it always looks very depressed in Europe. But in my country, if you come, the sun is in its glaring beauty and in abundance. And I think if India was to utilize sun power for future development, there's nothing that can stop us from dominating the global economy.
Alors, le soleil joue une part importante en Inde, mais il est aussi facteur de sécheresse et d'un manque d'eau quand même global, puisque 480 millions d'Indiens n'ont pas accès à l'eau potable et aux toilettes ou aux parties intimes de la vie courante. Pourquoi?
Well, I think let's be very clear. The droughts happen in India, droughts happen in America, and droughts happen everywhere in the world. That's a weather pattern, and we have to be prepared for it to mitigate the impact. But I think the bigger question that you are trying to say is that, you know, we have scarcity of certain resources. I'm not denying that. You know, there is a crisis on water front. There's a crisis on food front also. There is a crisis also on the you know, not only water but also on land issues now. But these are the challenges that the country faces. It's not the shortage of resources that the country is bestowed with. You know, we already have abundant resources. Now it is the challenge is how to judicially and equitably use these resources.
Alors, une dernière question. Les Indiens sont habitués à consommer régulièrement du riz, et vous êtes donc le représentant du millet en Inde. Pourquoi?
If you look at India's agriculture before the Green Revolution came in, India's agriculture was a kind of a multiple farming systems. You know, people were growing almost everything except for the tradition was that except for salt, they would be whatever they consume would be grown in their farm. That was the kind of agriculture we used to have in India. But once the Green Revolution came in, it went into commodity farming, which means wheat and wheat and wheat, and then rice and rice and rice, or maize. These kinds of few crops dominated the scene, as a result of which that multiple cropping system disappeared. Now we realize that that kind of a cropping system has not done well for the country's nutritional security also, not only food security but also nutritional security. So there is an effort to bring back millets into the cropping pattern again, so that it becomes part of your nutritious diet, because millets are very nutritious, and so that is where the effort is. But I think with that one aspect, we should also be bringing changes in the policies that can bring in sustainable farming systems which are linked to self-reliance and which are also linked to household food security as well as nutritional security. So that, I think, is a very important step, because unless policies change, nothing is going to change at the bottom. Millets is not the only crop which can give us nutrition security. There is also something called as A1 and A2 milk. This is very important. Now, the breeds that you have in Europe, the cow breeds that you have in Europe, especially in the intensive farming systems, all produce A1 milk.
Sorry?
All produce A1 milk.
Okay.
Now, A1 milk, it has now been established, is something which is nutritionally very poor. And that's the one which leads to all these lifestyle diseases, the cardiovascular diseases, the health problems, the allergies, and so on, and including diabetes. That's what, because of it doesn't have that immunity. Now, A1 milk are the varieties which develop the A1 milk, and the companies which market that, including Nestle, is marketing A1 milk. Now, people in Europe or in America have to understand that they have to shift from A1 to A2 milk. It has now been established that the Indian native breeds, we have 37 breeds in India of cows, these native breeds are rich in what is called A2 milk. A2 milk has all those kinds of elements or minerals which actually give you immunity against lifestyle diseases. And that would mean that, your entire health structure changes. The world today is now faced with a kind of a disease epidemic, especially of lifestyle diseases. Now, these kinds of breeds are not only in India. If you go to Norway, Finland, or to the upper reaches of Switzerland, or even France, there's a breed called, Ambience, for instance, in the upper reaches close to Geneva, Lake Geneva. Now, that variety breed is rich in A2 milk. Now, it is time now that common people have to realize that A2 milk is what they should be drinking, not A1 milk. If the urban consumer can change, you will see a lot of improvement in the nutritional uptake of populations everywhere in the world. So I think the important thing is for European consumers to shift from A1 to A2. If you demand Nestle to produce A2 milk, they will produce A2 milk. But you are not demanding, you are more worried about things outside in developing world. But I think your own food basket is also something to be very well or immediately looked into. A. Secondly, we are also moving on from nutritious food to synthetic food. Now, I was surprised, Google has come out with a synthetic burger. And that is a completely synthetic burger, and that is now being marketed. They are saying that they're going to market synthetic burger. If this is what Europe is going to consume, then I'm sure people in India are going to follow the European lifestyle. So I think Europe has to change a lot, and I think if you change for the better, it will have a very positive impact on developing countries.
Alors, ça m'amène à vous poser une question, vraiment la dernière. L'Inde a été pendant longtemps le pays où on pouvait aller acheter ses produits dans des petites épiceries, et récemment, sous la pression du Premier ministre, les grandes surfaces ont maintenant accès à la vente en Inde. Est-ce que vous ne pensez pas que ça va modifier justement la façon de se nourrir des Indiens?
Well, this is where the problem lies. Because America and Europe, they set up a system which is devastating for not only for your food tastes or food requirements, but also for the ecology and environment. And these kind of things, when they fail in this part of the world, then they try to translocate it to India or to other developing countries. Now, multi-brand retail or big retail the one that is selling all these products in Europe or in America, Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Metro, Walmart, are the ones now they are being pushed into India. Because there are no these kind of chains are running out of steam in Europe and America. You'll be surprised, Walmart in America is facing so much a problem that they have now realized that the big retail chain, there's no taker for it, the fancy has gone, there's no novelty to it. So now they're going in for small chains, small shops called, in the corner shops, called Walmart Express. So they are realizing it. So and also a study now shows that the big malls in America are now dying. This monopolization and this kind of cartelization, I would say, to market produce is actually going to intensify the kind of crisis that we talked earlier, where millets disappear, where all these kinds of good food will disappear and processed food will be on the shelf. You know, don't forget, in America, in a Wall Street shelf or in a Wall Street store, you will find 40,000 products being sold, food products, processed food products. And processed food products are bad for health. The time has come when we should wean away people from processed foods to raw food. Why can't people cook food at home? I know Europeans don't love to cook food at home. They say that we don't have time, but they have time to watch football. They have time to spend so many hours on football, but they don't watch, don't prepare because they feel ashamed. I think that thing has to be re-energized. You have to bring it back, this tradition of cooking at your home. That is why people earlier were very healthy. People now are sick. Basically, everyone today is sick. He's living on medicines only.
Okay. I understand now why India haven't a football team, yes.
But we have cricket.
Okay. Devinder Sharma, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.